Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 43 of Cute Little Love Letters, and this one is titled Shaken and Stirred. Okay, you said, still a little shaken by what had happened. Stay in the shop for now, little bug, your mum said soothingly. Come over here by the incense, she then said, taking you over to where she had something burning soothingly in the corner of the stall. She quickly grabbed a new stick of incense and lit the end, waiting until it had started to burn well, and then slowly wafted it around you. This is white sage to cleanse your energy, she said gently. Close your eyes and focus on your heart. You are one, you are you, and you are perfectly balanced, she said as she hummed a note and continued to waft the sage stick around you. While you had your eyes shut, your mum looked to see if you were wearing any gemstones and noted that you had the black tourmaline and opal bracelet on and let out a sigh of relief. Thank you, all-powerful, for protecting her, she whispered in her mind, knowing the gems would have protected you against any negative energy attacks if this clairvoyant meant harm. You did your best to focus on your breathing and let go of any lingering thoughts, and although initially it was hard, after a few minutes you were starting to feel more relaxed. Open your eyes, my sweet, your mum whispered, and you felt something cold being placed into the palm of your hand. Obsidian, to clear the negative energy, but thankfully you were already protected by your gem bracelet, she added. You gave her a relieved smile, and she returned your smile with her own. I will go and have a word with your father, she said. I'll be back soon. You nodded, and she put the incense stick down on the tray and then walked away, so you went to the cash register and waited there for a second, letting the cool of the stone in your palm ground you. Your mum didn't want to show her concern in front of you, but by the time she reached your dad in the greenhouse, her face bore a pensive look. Hello, my flower, your dad greeted your mum, but then paused when he saw her, his green eyes studying her face. What is it? He asked. Yin just had an unpleasant experience with someone new here at the markets, your mum said as she approached your dad. She said some things that only you, myself, Yin, and Royal Fae would know about. She spoke of your history, she added. Your dad paled slightly, and his concerned look turned to fear. Who was it? He asked in a numb voice. I'm not sure, your mum said, but she said it was the clairvoyant down the way. That's not good, your dad said with worry. I'll go and talk to Mr. Tenura next door. He's been here a long time. He might know more about who it is. Please do, your mum said. I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to mention names if I don't have to, but I wonder if this clairvoyant is of Fae origin, and not the well-meaning type of Fae, she added. Do you think Fox Fury? Your dad asked, his eyes widening. You said the word, not I, she said wisely. If they are who you have just mentioned, you need to keep away. Oh no, your dad said with worry. What did they say to Yin? They called her a princess and mentioned that she was of royal citrine descent, and she said they could also do the pinky to palm, your mum said. Your dad paled. Oh, this is very bad, he said, taking gentle hold of your mum's shoulders. I'll be back. Your mum nodded and reached up to give him a quick kiss on the nose before he walked past her and into the shop. I hope nothing bad comes of this, your mum thought as she watched him go. You were just starting to calm down when your dad stepped into the shop, and with one look at him you left your post and ran into his open arms. You okay, Petal? He asked. Yes, you nodded sadly, looking up at him. I'm sorry, Dad. I knew I shouldn't have gone in. I could feel they were no good. Your dad nodded. It's okay. I'll find out who they are. You stay here, okay? Don't go down there again, he said in a stern voice. It was filled with love and concern, but it was still stern. I won't, you said with horror. He bent his head down to you and kissed you on the top of your head and then gave you a quick hug. I'll protect us, don't worry, he said before leaving the stall. You sighed and went back to your post. Your dad was on a mission now. It was one thing to hold his dark past over his head, but to bring you into it, now that had him feeling all types of anger that he'd never felt before. With quick steps he walked to old Mr. Tenura's stall and stepped in. Why? The kindly old man greeted your father while he remained sitting in his chair and knitting. Rarely do I see you leave your plants, he said with an elderly grin. What brings you out into the light of day? I come to ask about a newcomer at the markets, your dad said, politely but wanting to cut to the core of the matter as soon as possible. Ah, the old man said, pausing his knitting. There have been a few new ones. Which do you wish to know more of? He asked. The new clairvoyant, your dad said forwardly. Ah, yes, the man replied. She has been here for the last 2 times we've had markets. Appears to be quite popular, but keeps to herself, rarely leaving the tent. No one knows where she came from, and no one sees her come or go from the markets. Usually we say goodbye to one another and take some time to pack up or set up things in the morning, but she comes and goes without a trace, he said with a shake of his head. That's all I know. She doesn't appear to be interested with any of us here. Your dad hummed. Okay, thank you. It doesn't give me much to go on, but thank you all the same. It's no trouble, the man replied with a smile. Is there any reason you're asking? You came in quite hurriedly. No reason. Yin just has been down there and was a little upset by some things that was said. Your dad answered vaguely. Oh, I do hope she didn't say anything out of turn to my dear Yin, the elderly man said, getting upset immediately at the thought of you possibly being sad about something. Oh, please don't worry, your dad replied quickly. She's okay. Okay, the man said, settling at your dad's words. If I do hear of anything else, I'll let you know. I would appreciate it, your dad replied with a small bow. Thank you, I'll take my leave now. The old man gave him a farewell, and then your dad left and headed back to the stall, none the wiser about who the new clairvoyant was, but glad that he had been warned and would now avoid the area. It was probably about 15 minutes later that Mr. Sadatori let Olyx have a break and nervously poked his head into the greenhouse to call out to the faithful worker. Olyx, he called, looking around nervously and flinching like mad when a butterfly flitted past him. Olyx, you can go on break now. Oh, Olyx said, suddenly appearing in front of him. The shorter sprite scared the poor old man half to death, making Mr. Sadatori jump wildly, his soul temporarily leaving his body before re-entering. Olyx then continued without skipping a beat. Wonderful! I'll go now. Thank you. See you in a half hour. Poor Mr. Sadatori couldn't even say anything, he was so shocked, and just nodded and let Olyx go past. Olyx giggled to themselves as they left the shop, feeling rightly proud of themselves for scaring the poor old boss. Yeah, they chuckled internally. Don't need any food today, really. I've been fed on laughter from my pranks. Happily, they struck up a little skipping pace and merrily skipped through the crowds, heading for the bakery with the gingerbread at it. That one was a favourite of theirs, as well as yours. It was as they were skipping along they heard a low whistle and stopped short to listen. The whistle was one that sprite folk used to call to one another, and they were immediately tuned into it. Another sprite around here? Olyx thought as they curiously turned and wove through the crowds towards the source of the sound. Olyx could smell water and knew they were close, looking around for whoever it was that was calling to them. Up ahead was a stall draped in purple, and they looked it up and down, sensing that there was someone of their kind inside. Hello, Olyx called as they pushed their head through the drapes. At first they couldn't see anyone, so stepped inside, looking around to locate who had called them as they moved in further. It was then that they sensed they had stepped into a trap and spun around to make a run for it, but there, right behind them, was a lady with a devious grin on her face. Greetings, young sprite, they said, greeting Olyx in Olyx's mother tongue. I know who you are, Olyx replied darkly, in the same language after studying them for a second. Get away from me, devil fox Faerie. Oh no. Olyx obviously knows who they are. We didn't know because we've never met one, but we will find out a little bit about Olyx's past in the next chapter. I'll see you tomorrow.